on the changing your positions,
really quickly,
I question you on that because
Kaitlin, I was just in New York City. I believe that's where you are broadcasting live from tonight. The streets aren't safe anymore. The subways aren't safe anymore. I care about.
I take the subway all the time. It is safe, but I want to get back to focusing on you because on the question here. And the question that we're talking about when it comes to you and your positions, I just wonder because you have changed your positions on many issues. When it comes to that 1864 abortion law, when it comes to early voting, you used to oppose early voting. You voted early in this election. When it comes to courting McCain Republicans in your state, you once told them, to leave an event of yours, to get the hell out was the phrase you used. You later said you were joking. I mean, some people may look at that and say, well, this is a candidate who has changed her position on a lot of things that we're looking at.
I want to secure the border. I want a strong economy. I want schools that are teaching our kids lessons that actually help them get ahead. My opponent has done an extreme makeover. He's voted for open borders. He's voted against the border wall. He called Trump supporters dumb, and he called Trump supporters and Republicans the worst people in the world.
But I'm asking you about your positions with all due respect.
But I'm telling you, I'm about to explain this. He's also voted for defunding the police. He's done an extreme makeover. He came on your show and you never interrupted him once. And I'm here to tell you, we have a lot of issues as women we care about. I care deeply about the little boy who was possibly wearing this shoe when he crossed our border, who's now missing. I worry about where he is right now. I worry about the people who are sex trafficked into our country and across our border. And most importantly, one of the most important issues I worry about is the weapon of mass destruction pouring across our border. It's called fentanyl, and it's killing about 100,000 young people about your age every year. I'm worried about your generation. I have kids that are probably about your age, and they've told me, my son just came home from college the other day, and he said, Mom, I don't think that we'll ever be able to afford a home in our generation because the housing prices have soared, especially in the past 4 years. They've gone up.
Yeah, and a lot of people are worried about housing prices. A lot of people are worried about fentanyl, and I should know most of it comes through legal ports of entry. But Carrie, like on your race,
21 million people here,
and then on your race in and of itself. When I was talking about your positions on those key issues that also matter, obviously, abortion is also going to be a big one, in addition to the economy and immigration in your state. On your race itself, have you changed your position on whether you lost the 2022 election for governor?
First of all, I want to go back to a question you just answered. I have not changed my position on early voting. We have to vote for the entire season.
You voted early after you've criticized it previously.
I did vote early. And I plan to, my husband plans to vote early. My daughter voted early. My son will be voting on election day. I've never changed my position. I've always said vote however you're comfortable. I do wish we had election day, but we don't. So we have to vote in that way. And we're going to make sure that we get everybody out to vote. And if you look at the stats, I don't know if you've covered this yet, because it doesn't go in the Democrats' direction. But we are seeing a huge turnout right now in Republicans voting early. It's incredible what we're seeing here on the ground.
Yeah, but I'm asking you about the turnout in 2022. Did you lose the 2022 election for governor?
Why are we looking backward? I'm looking forward, Kaitlin.
Because
I already know what you're
concede that race.
Kaitlin, I'm looking forward to what is coming up. I'm looking forward to November 5th and this huge election. And the people of our state are caring about what's coming up, what's going forward. How are we going to make sure we secure the border? What can we as Republicans do to make sure we bring back that thriving economy where we had record low unemployment?
So you're not going to say whether or not you lost the 2022 race. Is that what I'm hearing?
You know what, Kaitlin? You've seen thousands of interviews from me. I've answered that a million times. I'm looking forward.
You've actually yet to answer the question directly on whether you believe that you did lose the election.
Well, I want to make sure our elections are run properly, and I'm still in litigation, so I don't want to speak to that, but I do want to look forward. And it's so funny that the media, Kaitlin, hold up. The media can't get over it. You say I can't get over it, and it looks like you can't.
I don't think I said that. I just said you haven't conceded the race. And I know you mentioned your litigation. You filed multiple lawsuits. Have any of those lawsuits been successful?
Hold up, Kaitlin. We've had 10 questions probably, and you've had all of them being about elections or abortion. And while those are big issues, I care about them. You've asked 0 questions about inflation and the cost of living. In Arizona, we can't afford to live anymore. We have the fastest growing rent prices in the country in 3 of our cities.
So you're not going to answer the question about whether or not you lost the election?
I'm actually thinking you meant to ask me about the issues that people cared about. And people care about our wide open border. They care that 21 million people have poured in to your city, to my city, all across this country.
Do you think people care if you're willing to accept the results of an election that was free and fair, and that you filed multiple lawsuits that have not gone anywhere? And I should note, a defamation lawsuit that was filed against you, you did not contest it, from a top Arizona election official that says you lied about him repeatedly.
Well, I think what you meant to ask is Carrie, things are really tough right now. And I know that people that are watching. These are the questions I meant to ask with all due respect. I'm conducting this interview, but you're not answering those questions. And if that's your answer, that's fine. I just wanted to follow up on that. I think what you meant to ask is, how can we get through this difficult time where people are pouring across our border and people can't afford to live right now? I know that you're probably doing okay. You probably have a pretty good salary. I once sat in the chair like you did, but people are really struggling right now. I've talked to so many parents, dozens of parents who've lost somebody about your age or younger, a child from fentanyl. They're no longer willing to have our border be wide open. I'm glad you asked about the election. I'm looking forward to November 5th. We're seeing a huge turnout in voters here in Arizona, Democrats, Independents,
and Republicans. Can I ask you, in that race, when you look at the numbers in your state, Donald Trump is running ahead of Vice President Harris in that state. You're running behind Ruben Gallego by a few points, according to the numbers. We'll see if they bear out. Of course, it's polling. Yeah. But why do you think that is? Why do you think there are supporters who say that, voters that say they want to support Donald Trump, but also Ruben Gallego over you?
I don't really think those voters exist. I actually look at the good polling, our internal polling, which shows I'm ahead a little bit, and this is a tied-up race. So I'm actually looking forward to the election. It's going to be a voter turnout election, and right now we're seeing a great turnout with Republicans, much higher than Democrats right now, and then we're going to see people show up on Election Day as well. But what I really want to do is get to securing our border, bringing back a strong economy, making our streets safe in New York, in Phoenix, in Scottsdale, and Flagstaff. Thank you, Kaitlin. Appreciate you having me on.